welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite witchcraft tools. These are the things I use the most and that I just really like. So these aren't in necessarily any type of order. The first few are going to be my favorite, but then after that, they're still favorites, but they're just not in a specific order. So the first favorite, I've got them sitting next to me. The first favorite I have is my Book of Shadows. So this is going to be my new one. I haven't started this one yet. It's empty inside still. But my Book of Shadows is definitely a favorite tool. It's great to be able to keep my knowledge in and go back to it, write what I'm doing, all kinds of stuff. I think you don't have to have like a really fancy one, but I think having some type of notebook to keep notes in at the least is really good to have. My next favorite one, it's just like a journal. It's got lined pages and you can put the date at the top by circling the month and the day. And this I use for my shadow work notebook. I think it's got, 200 lined pages, it says on the back. And I don't really like how it says notebook here, so I want to get a sticker to put there, but I don't know what I'm going to get yet. And so yeah, I use this. I do some different shadow work prompts and just write about them in here. I really enjoy journaling. I think it's a great way to kind of get your thoughts out and really sorry, I'm having trouble putting it into words, but really getting to thoughts that you didn't necessarily know, not that you didn't know you had, but I hope you know what I mean, like that you weren't super consciously aware of, but then once you start journaling, they kind of come out and you're like, oh, I am feeling that way, or oh, maybe this is why I feel that way and I wasn't aware of it. Okay, this is just an example, but my next favorite tools are books. They're great to learn from. This is just a random one I picked. I want to start reading this after the next couple I'm reading, but I haven't started it yet. It's supposed to be a good one. So this is just an example, not necessarily just this book, but books in general. They contain a lot of knowledge, and as long as you read everything with a grain of salt, you can learn a lot. Okay, what do I want to do next? Okay, I guess next I will do, I'll do oils. So first, this one's actually empty, but it's kind of glaring with the light. But this is peppermint essential oil from Plant Therapy. I like essential oils, but I don't use a ton of them. And I really like Plant Therapy brand. It's not an MLM, so they're not like a shady business that preys on people, and they don't charge out the roof or whatever the saying is for their products. They don't way overcharge. So it's 100% pure essential oil. They have all different kinds and different size bottles. This is not a tiny one. It's an ounce. It's a whole ounce. Because I use peppermint to make roller bottles for my migraines. But then other oils I like to use are ones like this. This is from Natural Magic Shop, and this is a money oil, and it's a magical oil. And hang on, let me shake it up a little bit. It's got some powders in there. Well, you can't really see the powders that well, but it's got a leaf. I don't remember what that is. I think it's basil, I think it's basil. And the Natural Magic Shop, it's owned by a woman who makes all the stuff semi-locally to me. I'm in Central Texas and she's in Austin. So, or near Austin, I don't know. Somewhere in there. When I've gone up to Austin for like Pagan Pride and stuff, she's been at there selling stuff. So she makes it all locally, and she makes everything, like blesses and enchants everything, and like makes it according to the moon phases and all this different astrological stuff and all that. So since I'm talking about Natural Magic Shop, these are some candles from her. Another one of my favorite tools is candles. These are beeswax. I really like to use beeswax or soy. These are specifically Yule candles. And it comes with 3 in a pack. And they do have glitter on them, which I'm not a big fan of just because of the whole environmental issue with glitter. I don't know that I don't think it's biodegradable glitter. And so I really don't like the whole putting microplastics into the environment thing. But overall, I really like these candles. They've got, let's see, essential oils and absolutes appropriate to the intention. Renewable resource, nature-friendly burn. So I've used ones like this before from her, and I like them a lot. When it comes to candles, I don't like to use paraffin, and I don't usually like to use scented candles. I use some scented candles, but not like really for witchy purposes, just because I use them just because I would like the scent, you know. For witchy purposes, I don't really use scented candles, but my favorite are beeswax, and then I also like soy candles. So next I'll go into crystals. This is just an example. It's a green calcite. I really like this one. It's really pretty. I love how like even when it's rough like this, calcite feels really like smooth and waxy even when it's rough. And this one's really pretty. And then just another example here. This is a petrified wood from Oregon in the US. Really pretty. So I use crystals a lot I use not big ones like that, but I use little like chips and stuff in spell jars, mojo bags. If I'm making candles like this, I've made my own candles like this before. Like, sorry, it was way over on the couch. But like, let me see if I can get it out of the paper. I made this one. It's basically, it ends right here. So it's basically, I don't want to pull it all the way out because I won't be able to get it back in. But it's basically the same type thing. And so it's a rolled beeswax for the new moon. And I put certain crystals in there when I was rolling it, crystal chips. So I just want to push it back in the paper. And so I use crystals for that. I use herbs like that as well, which is another one of my favorites things. This is rosemary from my garden. But I use the crystals for enchanting them and like their different properties. I keep a carnelian on my desk for the creative energy because I do all my crafting in there, and then I do work on stuff like when I'm making my jewelry and that I sell and stuff like that. So going again, I kind of jumped ahead there for a second, but herbs are another one of my favorites. I have my own organic garden in my backyard, and I don't grow a ton of herbs myself just because a lot of them I find are harder to grow here. They're very finicky, and I grow everything organic, and a lot of herbs are really hard to start from seed, so you don't have to, but it's a lot easier if you buy them from transplants, but then it's hard to find transplants that are organic. And obviously I don't want to ruin my whole organic garden by putting a non-organic plant in there. So this is some rosemary from a plant I had, and I still have it. I mean, it didn't die or anything, but I picked the rosemary off and just dried it. I hung it to dry. I don't have an actual dehydrator. I want to get one, but they're kind of expensive, so I haven't done that yet. Okay, this within itself isn't a favorite tool, but I love items like this. This is a cauldron. It's actually supposed to be, it's got these little like things like this. It's supposed to be a cigarette ashtray, and you would like put your cigarette right there and right there, but it's actually cast iron. It's got the little handle, it's got the 3 little feet, and I really like it. And I found this at a junk store years ago, and I bought it. I think it was like $8. So it's like those small ones you can buy online that are like $20, 15 or $20. And I'm sorry, the yard guys are here, so ignore the noise. They're not supposed to be here today. So I love stuff like that you can get at the thrift stores and junk stores, that you're giving it a new life when it's, instead of buying stuff new. So this, I maybe should have mentioned this with the candles, but when I'm doing candle magic and using candles, I like to use a candle snuffer as opposed to just blowing them out. I'm of the belief that blowing them out kind of blows the energy away and is sort of like undoing whatever you just did the spell for. So I like to snuff them out. And so that I have two candle snuffers, that one, and I have one that's shorter and all metal. And I forgot to mention this in the candles, but I do use also birthday candles. I have this little tin of them, and I've got some gold ones like this. Get it in the frame. Some gold ones like that. I've got some silver ones down in the bottom, and then I've got just this more traditional kind like this. So I've got a whole little tin. This was originally some type of candle that my grandmother had, and she asked me if I wanted the empty tin. So I cleaned it out, and now I use it to store my birthday candles. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna include is, I think part of the reason I really like these is because I made them, not necessarily just because of what they are, because when I used to buy ones, I had a couple that I've bought, I'm talking about altar cloths. When I had a couple that I bought, I didn't love them as much as I do these, but one reason I love these, this is my Yule one. I went to the fabric store and I picked out fabrics, and I made it so that it is reversible. So it's big, it won't fit on the screen, but one side is this pretty red like splotchy looking batik, I think it's called, yeah, batik fabric. And then the other, it's reversible. So the other side is this pretty green, kind of splotchy looking too. And I put them together, and when I sewed it, I did it so that the green has green thread and the red has red thread so that it matches. And I have a Samhain one like this where one side is black with gray, little gray flowers, and the other side is black and white striped. I have one that's yellow on one side and brown on the other that I use for like Lammas and Lunasaw, and I use the brown side for Mabon sometimes. And then this is one I use for like Ostara, and I use the green one for different things, the green side. This one needs to be fixed a little bit, but this side's green. It's got a little bit of like dusty stuff on it, but this side's just green. And then this side is it's not silk, but it's like sort of silky-ish fabric, and it's like a floral design. So that's really pretty. This one was a little harder to make because the floral fabric was harder to work with. I bought that fabric online, and I didn't realize it was going to be that type of fabric. I had narrowed down the search by cotton fabrics, and so I wasn't reading the description clearly enough to see that that wasn't cotton. So the last thing I'm going to include here is a bell. This isn't the one I usually use, but I'm going to ring it now, just warning. So that one's really like light, which I like, but I set it down. I use bells mostly for like cleansing and clearing the energies, because I can't use things like incense or sage, things like that are all smoky, because it bothers my asthma. And I've tried smokeless sprays, but I'm not a huge fan of them because of the smell. I get migraines really easily and really bad, and so smells are something that really, really triggers my migraines. And some of them, like I know, like this specific type of smell, like florals, is a bad trigger, but then sometimes it can be like random stuff and I'm not expecting it. So I pretty much like to steer clear of scents unless I know specifically that scent's okay, like the peppermint. Okay, so that's all I have to share today for my favorite tools. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but when I was like going through my stuff and trying to look, I couldn't think of anything else. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to see a video response maybe, or just a comment down below talking about your favorite tools and why you like them. Thanks for watching again, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye. Blessed be.